Good afternoon, everyone. Um, I just finished walking my dogs, and it gets me on all these thought processes because I walk my dogs just a place just up the street, streams and trails and woods, and it's amazing. And my dogs are used to being off leash, and they're well behaved, and they've properly socialized with other animals. And there are times when it's been a while since they've been around animals. Sometimes it's a little tense, especially if the other animals are on a leash or they're on a leash. But again, this is all natural animal behavior. And the more we try to control it with things that are unnatural, the more it's going to be resisted too. So even on the trail today, like my dogs, they stay around me, but they run off and they go in the streams and they go off in the woods and they explore and they try to be careful and gentle, and sometimes porcupine quills, and I take off a lot of ticks. But again, these are all things that I take a look for and can manage myself, and so I'm comfortable with these things. Comfortable with risking those things happening because I want them to have fun and enjoy life and be able to run and sprint and let out any kind of like aggression or tension that they have and do it in a fun way and not be on a leash like in like the woods and nature, because like that makes no sense to me. And so yeah, like I see people like with their dogs on leashes, and then my dogs go say hi and be friendly, but the dogs feel a little bit vulnerable, or not used to being around other dogs, or not used to being off leash, and they see that as a threat, even if my dogs aren't being threatening remotely. It's being perceived that way because the owner clearly with a leash just doesn't have a grip on her or his pet to such a degree that even in nature they can't be off a leash, which is strange to me. And so they look at me like, control your pets. Okay, Smokey Ranger, come. And then they'll come, and sometimes it takes them a little while because like they're just sniffing or whatever, or want to play. But they've never bit other dogs, and they've had like rough play or rough interactions with dogs when owners have been really like overly reactive to like not like no like not even required. And this is, but I mean, in their defense too, like it's during the pandemic still, and we've been in Ontario and Quebec. We were hit with some really strict lockdown measures, and so I can understand that people just feel a lot more vulnerable in general and a lot more scared or fear based, and again, even people that were wearing masks on the trail, like in the woods, like away from other people. And I just again, I do understand that there's a spectrum, but I would argue that if you allow your dogs to be off leash more in a safe, controlled manner way, and have them socialize with other dogs, and then risk it, but be there again to see if anything happens, right? Because it's probably because they're not used to being free, or being able to like truly, like without a leash or whatever, without strict measures and control, without to like explore other dogs and see what play is, see what, you know, this can be or this can be. Then you're just going to continually have to like keep your dogs on leashes, and then it's going to be like more control measures needed to be implemented in order to rectify any you know, like reactions from the dog that you're putting on them. And this is the same thing I would say with masks as well. Like it just especially because like it's already anyway, I won't even go there. But where was I going with this? Oh, yes, just like reflecting on just like natural animal behavior and how it's very similar to human behavior, even though we are more evolved, however you want to describe it, more enlightened beings, um, who take up more space, and higher on the scale, however you want to call it. Um, but yeah, like the more, like the messaging nowadays, I guess too, is that if someone disagrees with someone's like belief system, or like what they like want to do with their bodies, um, if it's not in line with what they believe, then now it's become so leftist in the society of progressive liberal that people are really resisting. And so it's just like an interesting dynamic how, like, if you look at the control measures that how animals respond to those things, even on a lower scale, that's also a good example of how we can see how it could possibly be very similar to human behavior and how we react to certain stimulus. And so yeah, like the more we paint ourselves in these niche, like unique groups where we want to be even rarer, like even rarer, even more individualized, the further we're removing ourselves from being able to be with the group as a collective. And so this is what I mean, where like again, when we like are so divisive based on things that we that are easy, right? And if they're not visual, because that's the first thing that we try to exploit, and then it's language because it's a form of communication, and then it's and then if that doesn't work, because people start learning the languages and compare notes in a cooperative way, they have to find something else, and so then it's you name it, it's across the board. And so like again, we need to stop this messaging where we have to like and this is the point with that too, is like not only the more extreme this becomes, like the more the people put the more people that put themselves in like this bubble or this unique, very specific group, generally these people are the ones that also are the ones that adamantly want every single other person in the world to adopt what they embody, or what they project or want people to know or identify them as. And so, but then by doing that, they're kind of doing the opposite of what like made them so unique, right? And so this is why like, just because like we got to be careful with things that are rare too, or rare or dominant versus recessive. We have to be careful with these things because we don't want to have it where like the natural reaction is to dominate that that rare group, or vice versa, have that rare group want to dominate everyone else and dominate them, as in like have them adopt their same colors or their same tones or their same ideologies or belief systems or cultures or religions or sexual preferences or how they identify on the human scale, or you name it. It's just a cycle. And so cooperation, like embrace your uniqueness, and then don't force others to just completely dismiss their own unique attributes and qualities and characteristics, completely dismiss them so that they can either idolize you and want to be more like you, and again, this completely dismisses like an entire human being, right? Like I can aspire to be like someone or respect someone and their uniqueness in various different ways, like Beethoven with classical music, and Dr. Jordan Peterson with psychology and how he's innovating it in a very good way, and Joe Rogan with how he has adopted a platform and resisted a lot of temptation, like via money and all these other things, in order to be more open-minded and bring on guests to interview that had completely different backgrounds and ideologies and belief systems and things like that. And then just being respectful and open-minded, and then again, just sometimes changing his mind and sometimes not, and but having just such like a lot more of a well-rounded view of various different components of life, that he was able to like decipher and think critically to make his own assumptions better than people that just paint themselves in this box. Oh yes, and we got to change algorithms too. That was the important thing that I wanted to say this morning that I forgot. Where if we keep on like following the same groups and following the same platforms and using the same hashtags and following like people that are generally like they only have your belief systems or like what you're interested in, you're not changing the your algorithms, and so you're actually like reinforcing like this new perception is reality, where like you're actually funneling yourselves more and more into like a view of the world that's not like a reality on the bigger picture. And so this is why social media, it's very important that we get off it a lot too, and try to meditate or do, you know, physically challenging things, to kind of like just so that we can get back to like thinking critically and being in a better frame of mind, and focus on other things, so that we can be more aware of these things, or question these things more, and put more things in perspective. But then also, like, so for my social media, for example, I like various random different uh, interests and things and hobbies and people, because then it makes my pattern less predictable. And so the less predictable your patterns are, or our patterns are online, with like how we shop and what we shop for, and where we go, and the pictures we take, and the hashtags we use, and the accounts we follow, and all this stuff. Again, that funneling, the more predictive the patterns of behavior, which is like the biggest platform we use on a global scale or international scale, whatever you want to call it, that can be used against us. So just being aware of that just makes us less predictable. And so, like, you know, some days I could put, like, you know, for example, hashtags as like starfish, tree, mushroom, marshmallow, diamond. You know, like, and I post a lot of stuff like that kind of like reinforces like a certain belief system. But I'm also off social media a lot too, and I don't put myself in these tunnels where, like, whatever I'm reading on social media, that I'm not seeing, that I'm possibly just being kind of like funneled into like a frame of reality or perception of reality that may make me miss bigger things, or more obvious things that are out there for me to look at or review, so that I can have the bigger picture. So I follow multiple different political people, and multiple different like news outlets, and multiple different interests and hobbies, like plants and flowers, or bodybuilding, all that stuff. And so I do recommend that for people as well, just because of the less predictable, even in our own lives too. Maybe it was just because I'm more aware of this stuff, because like when you're in the military, and or like a woman that likes to explore a lot, like it's like making yourself a hard target also means like not following the same routes at the same times of day, and using the same like stores in the same areas, in the same neighborhoods. And there's so many different other things that we can do to just not make ourselves such like an easy target. On that note, I wasn't even gonna do a video today, and like another one, but yeah, I just wanted to get that out there in the ether, just in case I forget again. And I hope that everyone has a great rest of their day.